Hello, I'm Sunny's Crochet and welcome to my channel. For this video today, I will be doing a tutorial on this cat ear beanie one strand. So you only need one skein of yarn and just pulling from one strand one side. In the next clip, I will show you guys exactly what you need to complete this beanie. Alright, so we will be needing a medium 4-weight yarn. I'm using acrylic. This is Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo. This is the color Newspaper Stripes. This is the color I will be using. We also need some scissors, a 5mm crochet hook or an H. We will also be needing 2 stitch markers and a tape measure. I will be using centimeters for the purpose of this video. Alright, so let's get started. I will be pulling from the center of my yarn. You can pull from the outside if you want. I will be pulling from the center. Now that we have located the end of our yarn, we're going to start with a simple slip knot like you need for everything. This is the way I do it. Cross around into the hole, pull. I'm going to insert our hook. And we're going to start creating a chain that is about in between 27 to 30 centimeters long. Okay. I made 44 chains on my hook. So now that we have that situated, let's go and chain one more, make it 45, and we're gonna start doing half double crochets into the back bumps of your chain. Okay, so this is the front of your chain, right? Because they look like these. This is the back of your chain. They have these little bumps. I'm gonna go ahead and yarn over. We're going to insert our hook into the second stitch from your hook, the second loop, yarn over, pull, yarn over again, and pull through 2. That right there is your first half double crochet. We're gonna do another one, yarn over, insert into your next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's go ahead and put our stitch marker into that very first one that we did. 1, 2. And we're going to continue creating half double crochets into each one of these back bumps until we reach the end. If crocheting into the back bumps is a little bit too difficult for you or just too advanced, it's okay. You can turn it over and do your half double crochets on one of the loops like that. I personally prefer to do it in the back bumps. I think it looks better, but you can do it however it's more convenient for you. Okay, so this is what it should be looking like. I have 44 stitches. I just counted. Now that we have counted our stitches, make sure that you do have 44. And now we're gonna insert our hook into that top loop. And in between those other stitches, like before you complete the stitch, grab your tail, yarn over the tail, and pull through all 3 loops like that, go back in and grab the yarn that you're working with and do the same thing. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Now, since we don't have a tail, we're just gonna continue working over our tail throughout this next row. We're gonna go ahead and turn our work, yarn over, insert our hook into the back loop only. This is how you can find the back loop. There's a V right here in the top. You're gonna go into the second loop behind, right there, insert your hook, work over this yarn, so you're just gonna put it on top of your hook, and you're gonna continue working with your yarn that's attached to the ball. We're gonna go ahead and work our half double crochet like normal. We have our first stitch right there, yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch in the back loop only, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and with our second stitch marker, we're gonna go ahead and mark our first stitch. Like that. If you do not wish to mark your stitches, you don't have to do that. I do it so you guys can see where the beginning and the end is. It's very helpful, especially for beginners. Okay, we're gonna continue working half double crochets in the back loop only until we reach the very end of this row. We should have the same amount of stitches that we started with. So the last row, the first row, we ended in 44 stitches. That's the amount of stitches we should have for the ending of this next row. Remember to just keep on tugging right here. If it gets like too bumpy in the back, keep on tugging it until you don't have anything else left off to tug, and keep on working. All right, I have made it to the end right here. I'm going to go ahead and turn my work. Before you do that, make sure that you're working into that last stitch. Remember, you're not working into both loops, only the back loop. Yes, even at the very end, you're only working in the back loop. See how my stitch marker is still there? The back loop. We're going to turn our work, yarn over, insert our hook into the back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up all 3 loops. Same thing to the next stitch, and now we can safely remove the stitch marker and move it to our very first stitch that we just did right here. And that just reminds us of where it ends. That way we don't start adding a stitch or decreasing a stitch, making our seam right here at the end move any way, making it look all lumpy and stuff. We want it to have a straight seam. All right, we're gonna keep on working half double crochets back loop only until we reach the end again. All right, I'm working the last 2 stitches right here. 1, this is the last stitch, back loop only, half double crochet, turn, yarn over. My yarn is black right now, so I want to make sure that I'm looking pretty good, and that I make sure that I insert the hook into the back loop. I have 2 stitches there. I can now take out this stitch marker and move it up to my first stitch right there. And now I can continue working as I've been working this entire time. Back loop only, half double crochet. We want to continue working these rows until we have 51 centimeters of work done. So not this way, because it's not going to go anywhere this way. We want it to be 51 centimeters from over here until the end. Right now we have worked a total of 3.5 centimeters right there. We want to continue until this says 51 centimeters right here. All right, so let's continue working half double crochets until we reach that 51 centimeters. All right, so for this section, for some reason, it stopped recording my voice. So I'm just showing you guys that how to count your rows. Right now, it's per seam. So per seam is 2 rows. So I ended up making 50 rows. So each seam, 2 rows, it equals to 25 seams equaling to 50 rows. Now I'm grabbing my tape measure and I'm measuring the centimeters. It is currently measuring about 51 to 52 centimeters wide. Now I'm just gonna insert my hook back into the working yarn I was working with, and because this is a no-sew beanie, we're gonna go ahead and start slip stitching our beanie closed. So what we're gonna do is grab our hook, insert your hook in the back loop of the first side of the panel and in the back loop of the second side of the panel. So we'll be working on back loops again, connecting both panels together so the pattern looks seamless and it doesn't look weird when you're finished with your product. Since you are working in even rows, so it won't look all crazy. So all right, and we're gonna keep on crocheting this panel together, back loop only, until we reach the very end. All right, so now that we are at the end over here, make sure you grab those last 2 loops. Otherwise, you know, it's not going to start unraveling, but you just want to make sure that everything is secure. Now we're going to fold the top end, and we're going to make sure that you are folding the top end and make sure everything is aligned together. I'm going to go ahead and use a stitch marker to mark my last 2 rows so I know where exactly I'm going to stop. Now that I've placed my stitch marker, we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and make sure that you're grabbing both panels from each side. And we're going to continue slip stitching all the way till we get to that blue stitch marker at the end. Make sure that your slip stitching isn't tight, otherwise your hat will look like it's decreasing rather than just closing it. So just relatively loose, that way it's not cinched in. Now here at the end, I'm taking out the stitch marker and I'm gonna do that last slip stitch. And after that last slip stitch, I'm gonna go ahead and single crochet, sorry, I'm gonna go ahead and do another slip stitch after that one to close it up, and I'm just gonna cut my yarn. I pulled out my yarn and I'm just gonna weave in my end just a little bit with the same crochet hook along the side, not too far down. I'm just doing like 4 or 5 stitches down, and then I'm gonna go ahead and bring that yarn back up again. After that, I'm just gonna cut off the yarn and call it a day. After that, I just insert my hat inside of the hat and I pull it through. That way I'm facing the correct side. Make sure I tug out those ears. And you can leave it folded up with a brim. This hat is intended to have a brim. If you don't want a brim in your hat, you have to make your count shorter, not 27 centimeters to begin with. Maybe, let me measure it really quickly since I have it right here. Maybe do 22 centimeters rather than 27 if you don't want a brim. I'm showing you the inside of the hat and back to the outside of the hat. It's seamless and it's overall a good pattern to follow. That way you don't have to like sew anything other, not even, you just crochet everything, absolutely everything. You can barely tell where the seam is. If you want to put like a little tag, you can just put a tag anywhere. This is how I do it. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you made it this far, tag me on social media, Stunning's Crochet, over on Instagram, on Facebook. I have a page over there too. Let me know how it came out looking, what other colors you guys used to make this beanie. I decided this color because I don't know, it's like all the shades of cats, you know, into one. I know there's like tabby cats are like orange and stuff, but you know. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed yet. I am trying to make more tutorials for you guys, so stay tuned for that. I post every Saturday at 9 in the morning, and other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.